Hello there, I'm Alto and you've tuned into my brand new series, Making Game Mechanics. This is the first official test episode, episode 0.1. In this series we'll explore game design and game mechanics through actual practice. I, like most people, love video games and want to learn more about the inner workings of the design. So, through the duration of this series, we will create a flurry of very small video games based on interesting topics and themes and ideas, and we will get hands-on experience with the mechanics and design. And after we've created these games, we'll test them on friends as well as strangers, and we will evaluate the results. Did we actually succeed, or did we fail in creating something that was meaningful? I'm not a professional, but I have basic coding skills and very basic drawing skills, and I'm quite familiar with a variety of the software that we are going to use. By the way, the software we are using is Unity, a free game engine. It's very easy to program in, it's very easy to run, it's very easy to use in general, and most importantly, it is free to use, I think, unless you earn 100,000 American dollars a year, which I don't at this point, but it would be nice. 100,000 on the game, of course. Apart from Unity, we're also going to use the image manipulating program called GIMP. It's free, it's open source, and you can use it for however projects you want. I love it a lot. And we're also, in later projects, going to use a free 3D animation software called Blender, which I am also fond of. So, with that out of the way, let's begin with episode 0.1, The White Room. Now, the first game we're going to look at is a set called The White Room. The basic theme I'm tackling is preconceptions, and the premise is this. Through only text-based dialogue, the player will have to recite a single word important to an unknown person. Now, how do we do this? Let's start with the setting. Welcome. This is The White Room. There are multiple parts to this. First of all, I wanted to exclude any visual signal that the player got. I wanted, as said, the theme is preconception, so I wanted the player to go in with a blank slate. They should know nothing about the person they're talking to. So, there will only be 3 things on this screen. It's a white room, so there's text on the wall, there's dialogue on the wall, you see it up there. And then there are a few dialogue options below that. You can see that there, and then there's this text box alongside a lock that is open but should be closed. Okay, bug, we'll fix that later. Anyhow, now, what I want to do is to make clear to the player, okay, you have to find a word and you have to recite this word, but I cannot display everything about this person. Well, I probably can, but I won't display all the text and monologue from this person in one go. I actually want the player to feel like he is having a conversation with somebody. So how do we make the player realize that he or she has to type in something, a certain keyword, and at the same time, you know, have a conversation and tell the difference between just the normal conversation and the actual keyword they have to find? Well, there are a couple of ways to do this. First of all, I was thinking, well, why don't we just make the player type in absolutely everything? So we put in a text box in the bottom, and we put one of these, those blinking line things, the cursors. They have a name, but I've forgotten. It'll be on the screen. So we put in one of those, and we trust that the player immediately realize, well, this is a cursor. I know what this is. I know that I can now type something. Type some, so on and so on. But what should the player type? Well, if we put the player in a situation where there's nothing but, you know, some text on the wall up there, some dialogue option, and then this box, we again put some trust in the player and trust that they will realize that the text in the top is somebody talking to them. and the text below that is options that they can choose to actually type in. So let's say that this text is not a test text, but an actual test, but an actual text, an actual dialogue. Well, they would probably put in the word test or something like that and press enter, and they realize, oh shit, something happened. It would go on to the next thing, and they would immediately realize, I did something right. This is how you have a dialogue. So I think that the conveyance should be clear, at least the conveyance of how to have a dialogue with, you know, this unknown person. Good, we learned the player something. Well, how about the certain word they have to, you know, actually type in? How about the keyword, the literal keyword? Well, that's more difficult. We have to force the player into a situation where they can type nothing but the keyword, and that is where the next idea I have came in. I want to create multiple rooms to actually really get the concept in so the player learns it and can use it efficiently later on. So let's say that the player had a dialogue with the first person he or she meets and reaches the end of the dialogue. And there's no longer any dialogue options, but the player didn't move on. Nothing happened. So he is stuck, or what? Of course he's not stuck. He just has to figure out what is happening. So again, the trust in the player. We will now trust that the player will just try stuff, try typing in every word on the screen if it is necessary. And again, if the last sentence is I feel lonely, and then he will probably put in the text lonely. And then he'll see that, he or she will see that, shit, the scene moved on. I did something right. So in that simple way, we actually learned the player something. We learned, okay, that's how to actually play the game. And now we can, in this next room, try something different. We can try that they reach the end point and actually there are dialogue options still, even though there's only one keyword. I have not implemented it yet, but that is the basic idea. So, what have we done this episode? What have we actually thought about? Well, I think we clearly convey some kind of dialogue. We clearly convey that there's another person that the player is not in control of, but that the player can interact with. We clearly convey in which way the player can interact with him, and that he has to do something besides just typing in dialogue options. So that's basically the whole game done, right? Not exactly. There's still a couple of things left to be done. We still need to actually write the dialogue itself, and it has to be very clear what the objective is through the dialogue, or else the player might get stuck. And also, we have some interesting choices to make in the sound design, and I want to talk about the pixel art design itself too. So, but that'll have to wait until next time. I don't have time for anything more. So, if you have any comments, if you want to give me any ideas on future games I can make, or if you have just any comment on the production value of this video, please leave them below. Any links to relevant software I've used is in the links below too, and well, that's about it. So like, subscribe if you want to, if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't. It's all valuable information, and I will see you next time.